What's up? What's up? What's up? Rick Paulton and not Ryan Inman. Not Ryan Inman. Ryan got tied up tonight, and Charles Sherrod from the Dive Podcast was so kind to jump on with us and pinch hit for him at the literal last minute. So thanks so much for taking the time to jump on and help me out. So how's it going, brother?
We're doing good. We're just doing some last minute everything. The show tonight is going to be like packed with stuff. And I got to pack everything into an hour.
So what is the show on tonight?
Well, the show tonight's Halloween. I'm trying to
Halloween is. I seen the graphic, but I wasn't sure if it was about the movies, the holiday, or what.
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of people ask me, to do the movies and maybe like talk a little bit about, the motivations of Michael Myers and stuff, what I thought, and to me, I always said mystery is usually the best form of horror, but unfortunately these days it doesn't really matter. Everybody's got to know everything. So I decided to put a show together for Halloween tonight.
Okay, cool. And that show is exclusive to the Rumble app. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, Rumble's basically YouTube, except the algorithm on there allows you to reach more viewers and allows you a little bit more freedom. You can express yourself better and don't get tedious warnings that you're going to go to jail. Facebook.
Right on. So anybody listening in the comments, which is nobody right now, so we'll talk about that again later when other people come on. But I was going to say, go ahead and download the Rumble app. But right on. So tonight we were supposed to do a review of John Carpenter's 1982 film, The Thing. For me and Ryan, we're doing a series of films about Wes Craven films and John Carpenter films. And like a kind of a battle thing going on. I'm more of a Wes Craven fan. He's more of a John Carpenter fan. The part of this that sucks for me though is upon like I'd never seen The Thing until 6 months ago, I'd say, for the first time ever in my life. And a couple other John Carpenter movies I've been catching up on it, and it's like, yeah, I think I backed myself into a corner with this debate. It's going to be a difficult one because John Carpenter's got some really, really good stuff.
Yeah, they're definitely there's not really night and day, but their styles are, quite different. Wes is a little bit more mainstream, even though he's still fringe. John is pretty much outlaw entertainment, so to speak.
Right on. Yeah. Yeah. So this movie, I watched it and I texted Ryan right after I watched it the first time, and I said, this might not be the best horror movie I've ever seen. This might be the best movie I've ever seen. It just blew me away. And the real horror in this movie to me wasn't the thing. It was the people in the movie, and they're just suspicion of each other, and nobody could trust each other. And that whole vibe going on is really what sucked me in. And just, like with any John Carpenter movie, that the suspense and the way the music's done, and always the underlining message in all of them. And in this, it was more about that than it was the actual thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's paranoia, which is something, especially in that part of the world, it's very if you've ever been in the Arctic, it's very isolated. There's no real treaties for any countries. You can't drill there for oil, and it's basically no man's land. So that's the place to have something like this, because if you need help, it's going to be
that's it. It's a wrap, and they knew that in the movie too. They were like, yeah, we're not going to make it out of this, but we got to make sure that don't make it out of it either, because they knew nobody was coming for them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was, I remember seeing that movie. God, it was years and years ago. I mean, when I first saw the movie, and I loved it. And it was like John's like black sheep. People thought it was too gory and too, whatnot. And it's like, okay, well, I get it, but overall, it's still. I mean, it's classic. I mean, and a lot of these critics just were. I mean, you gotta have some form of violence. I mean, and the alien's not gonna come tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, can I do this?" So, I mean, I understand, and the graphics they're fairly cheesy now, but overall, I prefer those to the CGI effects.
Oh, without a doubt. I think got my notes here. Rob can't read my own writing as usual. Bottin, I believe his name is. They did the special effects. Was it
Rob Bottin? I was saying Bottin for a while, and then I saw the RoboCop documentary, and it's
which he did all 3 RoboCops. He did King Kong. He did Star Wars, The Fog. I mean, and this movie was way ahead of its time with the special effects. I don't think you said it looked cheesy by today's standards. I don't. I think it holds up real well. And
what I kind of meant to say was it looks cheesy by today's standards, but I more or less meant to say it looks, if someone were to compare it to something today, they would say it would be cheesy. But I prefer practical effects. I don't.
Yeah, without a doubt.
It's CG. Like I saw somebody with a broken neck in that new Pet Sematary movie. It looked fake tremendously. I mean, just do somebody there and put a bruise right here. I mean, that broken neck. There you go.
I was watching. Speaking of that, I was watching Exorcist Believer. I don't know if you got a chance to see it yet. Did you?
I did a review on it last week. The most painful 5-minute review I've ever done in my life.
I seen it, and I kind of liked it, to be honest with you. I know I'm in the minority, but there was a scene. The scene where the one girl's in the hospital bed and she starts to bleed, and that's CGI. And it's like you couldn't do that with real blood, like, because it looked so awful because it was so fake, and it wasn't something that would cost money, So I was just shocked that they would go through the trouble of doing that CGI. I don't know. I don't like CGI at all. I don't think I've seen anything CGI and go, wow, that's great.
CGI to me is just, it used to be a tool. Now it's pretty much everything. I mean, it looks
ridiculous. Crutch now.
They CGI the costumes on people. They CGI the cars. They CGI everything. And it's just obviously not real. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so I really, like I said, I really dug the movie. The acting in it was phenomenal. This was Carpenter's favorite movie of the movies he made. It had a $15 million budget and only made $19.6 million. I was so shocked by that it didn't do so well. But like you said, the critics ripped it apart.
They ripped it to shreds. They said Carpenter's never been a critic darling. I mean, he's basically, you're looking at a guy who is, he did Assault on Precinct 13. They hated Halloween when it first came out, but then it got re-reviewed by, I think, the Village Voice, and then all the critics jumped on the bandwagon, and he was like, then The Fog and all this, but he's never been a critic darling, and that was a tough film to pull off anyway. I mean, you're trying to do something state of the art, and at the time it was, but I thought a lot of those it was just unfounded. And it was slammed right in the whole slasher, the slasher genre. So it probably just got lost.
That might have, a lot of his stuff, like The Fog and this, I think they were like way too deep for what people were into at the time. They Live. All 3 of those movies, like you said, everybody was Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, the budget versions of those guys, Sleepaway Camp, all that. And, the straightforward, no depth to it horror, which I do love. Don't get me wrong. But Carpenter's stuff was like you really had to think about it. And those 3 movies I named in particular, just amazing.
Exactly. I mean, it's just something you gotta. It requires some thought. I mean, it came out in 1982, so you had Friday the 13th Part 3, which was the biggest horror film of that year. You had countless other horror films at the time. You also had Halloween 3, which was another Carpenter production, but so he didn't have the best year that year, unfortunately. As far as
alien movies go, that's the year E.T. came out. Am I right about that?
Yes, A.T. just kind of topped it right there. I mean, it was a really funny year with stuff. I mean, it really was anyway.
Yeah, we might have to do that for our next the year in horror show that we do sometimes. The 82 is a good year. to dive into, I would say. But I was surprised to see that Carpenter did not do the score for this.
No, he didn't do the score for it.
Ennio, I can't pronounce the guy's name. Italian guy, Morricone, and that's assuming I spelled it right.
I mean, he did some collaboration with him, but he didn't write it.
Okay, because it definitely seemed to be Carpenter. It seemed like Carpenter until I did my research, and I was shocked to see that. But it definitely seemed like a Carpenter score to me.
It did, because it had a lot of that, especially, the symphonic sound, which is what he uses. He collaborated, but like I said, this movie was a huge undertaking. And so they just had to, you got to ask for help, unfortunately. So, but it was still worth it. Great score. Right
on. Yeah, no, I was definitely really, really, really good. Did you happen to play the video game that came out in 2002?
Yeah, I remember me and my nephew, we saw the commercial for that, and it was really cool. I mean, I was like, man, that looks great. And then when it finally came out, I played it. It was fairly difficult. I mean, but at the same time, it's like, they were working limited. They couldn't use the complete likeness of certain people because that's money. But overall, I think it was okay. I thought it was pretty good.
My friend of mine played it a lot, and I played it briefly with him. And I'm not good at those shooter games. I'm not good at video games. I play Madden. I'm pretty decent at that. But other than that, I kind of suck. But I liked it. I thought it was pretty interesting. And now that I've seen the movie, because at that time I hadn't seen the movie, I knew what the movie was, because it's iconic, but I had never watched it. Now that I've watched the movie, I think I'm going to pick up a PS2 version of that game and try to jam it out, because it's supposed to be a sequel to the movie.
Basically the rescue team comes in and there's a lot more going on, of course. And of course they didn't eradicate everything. I mean, I don't know if you looked it up completely, but the ending was pretty cool, how they, threw in the ending. And it's quite, the mechanics are difficult. I mean, they wanted to get to be better than Resident Evil, and that was the survival horror series at that time. But I think overall they did pretty good. I liked it, and a good soundtrack too. So
right on. I'm gonna definitely get into that and check it out. Did you see either the original movie from '51? Well, we'll start there. Did you?
Thing from Another World? Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I don't have a fresh of memory on it, but I do remember me and my dad would sit around and watch those old school horror, old school monster movies. What they were called. But I thought one of the most coolest things was the opening titles, how they basically kind of did the wind tunnel and the light and just revealed the thing across the screen. I mean, the monster, he kind of looked like like some kind of a Martian, weird Martian character.
Yeah, well, he definitely wasn't as cool as, than 82, but it was, I thought it was pretty cool that the story wasn't too far removed from that for the 82 one. And if I remember right, weren't they watching that in Halloween?
Yes, they were watching. Lori and Tommy were watching it.
Yeah, Lori and Tommy. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Well, I mean, the thing is that movie, when they wanted to, just a little something, when they wanted to remake it, Carpenter's original thing was he didn't want to do the single alien because he thought it would remind audience too much of Halloween, having the single force go after everyone. So he wanted it could be anyone kind of vibe, which, and to be honest with you, it kind of reminded too much of Invasion of the Body Snatchers a little bit, but it had that vibe where he didn't, but that's the thing. He didn't agree to do it unless he could make it multiple
right. Rosa just popped in the comments. What's up, Rosa? How you doing? This is Charles Sherrod from the Dive Podcast. He's going to go on tonight live at 7:50 our time. He's on. You got to get the Rumble app to check his show out. So if you you want to do that, it'd be awesome.
It's free too.
Yeah, totally free. Yeah, totally free. So, well, side note, while since that was just brought up, when you go on that, you said you're totally, sick of Facebook, but if you wanted to broadcast to Facebook, Rumble, YouTube at the same time through StreamYard, I think that's what you use, right?
Yeah,
you can do that, right?
I kind of do. I do that still a little bit, but at the same time, it's like, I was doing Facebook, I was doing YouTube, I was doing all this. I mean, I'm all for rules. You want to follow the rules, that's fine. Right. But at the same time, it's like it gets to a point where you have the rules, you have all this, and then all of a sudden, it's still like I had somebody on a chat. I want to drag this out, but I had somebody on a chat
fine, man.
who said, yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis sucks, because we're talking about Halloween ends, and he got booted out of the chat, and I was like, what happened?
What?
I had no control over it. And then he sent me this thing that said he got booted out because they said he made an anti-woman remark. He okay, called her a bitch. He really did. But guess what? I mean, Jesus, you literally, but the thing is, once they shut down that chat with him, they shut down my chat completely, and there was nobody in it. And nobody could see the podcast. And I'm like, you're messing with, even though it's free, you're messing with
your brand
here. Yeah. And that wasn't good. And I had to apologize to everybody about it. And they were all saying, you need to get rid of Facebook. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I know you're still on Facebook, and that's fine, but that was very underhanded to
sounds like
him out, and then just basically shut down my chat. And I was like, we weren't being that bad.
I've heard Jamie Lee Curtis can be a bitch.
And it was well founded. We were doing a story about how some horror people are, their careers go up, and then all of a sudden they go down. They want to come back, and then
you'll get that,
destroy the brand, and then all of a sudden it's like. The comment that she made that we were kind of talking about was, oh, it's not my job to tell you how it all ends. You have to make that up for yourself. No, you're the one who is in the movie. You're the one who's supposed to tell us what happens.
It's kind of your deal right there, isn't it?
Yeah, and she's very, and that was, that was it. I mean, I've interviewed people that said that they not particular horror fans, and that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. But they still talk lovingly about the movie they were in. They love the fans. They just said they're just not massive horror fans. And I said, that's fine. You don't have to be. But don't piss on us.
Right. And the genre, it was like a springboard for a lot of these guys too, because, this was the first gig they got, and this is what got them known. And then somebody spots them and puts them in another movie. You've always heard that about her, that she's kind of wanted to distance herself from it, but even she has a legacy in horror too with her mother, and it's just crazy that she feels the way she does to me.
Yeah, it was a very underhanded, and I'm not sure what happened after that. I mean, I haven't had many problems after that, but it's like people like that. It makes me think that somebody had a problem with her, and a problem not with her, but a problem where they're big fans of hers, and then just saw me and just said kick gone, and I was
it could be it.
Exactly.
Facebook's weird like that. They little keywords, if you say them a certain way, like I got flagged because my little sister posted a picture of herself with a filter on her face like they do, and I said, you look too good for that, don't do that, leave that for the ugly chicks. And I got a thing that goes against standards, and like I'm giving her a compliment, but you didn't like the way I worded it, I guess, so Facebook can be really stupid, but exactly. I might be interested in getting on that, but keeping these going too, and doing all three at the same time. If all it is hitting a button to go there, and then see what kind of response I get from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, but the thing is, it's just I can make better material from where I'm at, and that's the point. You know, we're kind of we're branching off, you know, into everything, you know, because I said I was going to do a sci-fi show. We did a sci-fi show. Someone wanted me to do a comedy show. We might do that one day. I mean, we're not going to get far away from, you know, the good stuff, but we're all about trying to, you know, be fresh, and it's no big deal, but it's, if you're critiquing something, you shouldn't, you know, I mean, I'm not making money off of this. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm not making money off of this.
For me, is the goal is never to make money. It's just to have fun doing it. And if God forbid I make $1 from it someday, cool. If not, then that's cool too. It just gives me something to do, some fun stuff to do, and talk about horror movies. Well, my idea when I did this was to talk about literally everything, because we're real big into wrestling, we're big into football, all this stuff. So that's why I came up with the name, The Whole Damn Enchilada, because of course I'm, you know, a big fan of Part 5. But I figured that would encompass everything. But then when we were only on audio on Spotify originally, and when we would talk about other things, it didn't get as good of a response. So then we started to focus more on horror, and then kind of going down that route. But yeah, it's a really cool. To give it, the idea was that my youngest son Ricky, who's autistic, he really likes horror movies, and he was on here a couple times with me, not on this yet, but on the audio version. And it was an excuse to do something with him. And it's just, like if I ever make $1, cool. If I don't, cool. I don't care.
Exactly.
Right on, man.
I wanted to mention something just real quick.
Go ahead, man.
I actually saw this today. Somebody sent me this. I don't have the link here, but since we're talking about The Thing, I don't know if anybody out there knows what Mondo Shop is. They sell a lot of cool.
I just seen that before we went on.
They have the McCready, The Thing. I mean, it's going to be about $300, but it's 12 inches. And it comes with, I think, the dog monster. It comes with a lot of stuff. And I bought a couple of things from them. I mean, I'm not going to pay $1,000 or anything like that for some of this stuff, but it was a cool collectible. So if anybody hears this and wants it, I go over to Mondo Shop, because that looks pretty cool. I think I might pre-order that one.
I see it has like the faux leather jacket and
the pants. Yeah.
So it's like a hot toy then. You know, you're familiar with hot toys? Yeah,
it's about a 12-inch. It's 12-inch,
which is about the size of a hot toy, right?
Yeah,
12 to 18, something like that.
Yeah, I recently pre-ordered the Doomslayer, so I'll be getting him here pretty soon. But that one, I saw that, I was like, wow, that looks pretty cool. So I mean, that one, that's definitely. I wish I had the picture of it. I don't have the link.
I'll post it on the page later. I know exactly what you're talking about, because I seen it as soon as I never heard of Mondo. I've never heard of that. And my phone's always listening, so it heard me talking about The Thing all day, so pop that on there.
Yeah, and be careful, because if you want to get it, fine. If you don't. But my advice is, don't say I'll get it later.
Yeah, because you won't be able to get it later. Just like that that Halloween toy that popped up last week, Halloween 3, the Dr. Chala.
Yeah, I wanted to get that.
I wanted to get it too, but I didn't have money until like a couple days later, and I could have borrowed some money to get it that day, and I should have, and I thought about it, and I was like, I'll just get it on Friday. And then Friday came, and it was gone.
Yeah, it's just it happens. And I wanted to get the what was it? The Stevie Wayne figure from The Fog.
Yeah,
it came with the golden cross and everything, and NECA, and I missed it. So
yeah, I seen that one was on it was a giveaway that you got for the movie on Scream Factory, and they brought it back out recently.
Yeah,
but I didn't have the money to get it then, and I didn't get it again.
I saw it for sale at a convention. It was stupid, because she was there. Adrienne Barbeau was there, and I don't know if she knew that, but they were saying, "Hey, get it autographed. All you gotta do is buy it from us for $750." I'm like, give me a break.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, speaking of Adrienne Barbeau, she had a cameo in this film. She was the voice of the computer. The computer that McCready's playing chess with, and he loses to and gets upset with and destroys.
Yeah, we've all done that to some extent. I've just not pulled
slam a controller down in frustration.
But yeah, I definitely. It's just that was. That was, I like these little facts. A lot of people don't know the facts. I mean, it's even some people don't even realize Jamie Lee Curtis literally voices a lot of Carpenter's stuff. She's kind of in there, even though I'm not a huge fan of hers, but I know that she does occasionally, Escape from New York, Escape from LA. Yeah. She even does the narration. But yeah, there's those little facts, or something that I'm interested in. A lot of people aren't, but I like those.
Right on. Yeah, yeah, it's good stuff for sure. Yeah, I haven't seen Escape from New York. That's one of Ryan's favorite films, and I noticed that it's on Tubi, so I'm gonna get to that. I mean, I seen it, but I seen it when I was like 6 years old. My dad would go to the movie store and like rent everything. It got to a point where he'd have to go in there and go, "What haven't I rented?" And they would have to give him that much smaller list.
Escape from New York was, I look back on it. One of my favorite parts on it, well, of course, was the optical effects of the wall in the beginning. They had the lights. How they did it with matte painting, the helicopter, which was a little miniature, looked real enough, and how they were able to cut from the model to Liberty Island. They actually filmed Liberty Island, but they didn't get to do much. But the actual, I mean, I know this ain't the film we're talking about, but the actual film or place that they filmed it was, I believe, in Cleveland, because they had a big fire. And
really?
And it gutted the downtown, so they were able to film there.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I am in Cleveland.
and Chock full of Nuts is like a big New York thing, so they decided to put that in there, so people would think it was New York.
Did you see the prequel in 2009? Is it 2009?
Which one?
The prequel to The Thing. I'm sorry.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I like I said,
I was watching that before we came on, actually, because I haven't never seen it until today.
I like,
from what I've seen, it seems okay.
The effects weren't all that great, but I didn't like the scene where the doctor was the monster and his face was just,
Yeah.
But I think overall, it was okay. I mean, I like how they cared about the first one so much. They tried to put everything where the first one was. But at the same time, when you're going to go after an actual cult classic, you gotta be careful.
For sure. Careful. Yeah, I did like one thing I caught by it. The one guy was a Cavs fan in 1982. And of course, being from Cleveland, I kind of dug that. He was like, "Hey, dude, what's up? What's going on with the Cavs?"
Yeah, and they may make it fun of it. Yeah, I remember. It's like it was.
They were so bad back then. They were a brand new team.
I didn't even really hear about them back then. Yeah, I do remember that. I mean, it was a good movie. I mean, it was okay. I mean, I like the ending. How
I didn't make it to the ending, so I didn't see that because.
Oh, you haven't seen the ending yet? Okay.
No, I was just watching it like right before we went on. I had it on. I was doing like the shared screen thing because I'm like just messing with stuff on here, and I was watching that and like texting people and like kind of halfway watching it. I'm gonna watch it again later, but I didn't make it to the end. I got about 15 minutes in. To me, it seemed like pretty close in story to the first one, just obviously with different characters. I'm gonna check it out. Ernest Cloud II popped in. He said CGI sucked in the prequel, but story not so bad at all.
It wasn't.
Well, if you were here earlier, we were discussing how much we both hate CGI, so we will probably agree with you on that.
CGI is just, it's a tool. It's not. People try to replace CGI with story, and if the story is great and the CG and the CGI is okay, that's okay. But if it's CGI, if it's just a big CGI movie and the story sucks, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't Marvel.
I'm out, totally, completely.
Yeah, they're just doing too much with it. And it's really hurting. Oh no, it's all good, Ernest. We usually go on at 7, and like we had some problems. My co-host couldn't make it. Charles Sherrod decided to jump on with me for a minute. I think he's going to have to get out of here in a minute because he's got to go do his show, which starts in 18 minutes on the Rumble app, which is free. Get that, download that app on your phone and follow the dive. That's what it's called on there, right? Just the dive.
Yeah. Well, when you go on Rumble, you can type it in. When you type in rumble.com, just go into search and you see my first and last name and Junior. Just type that in and you'll see the channel right there. It gives you the option to create channels. So okay. I created the channel and you click on that. It has, everything on there. And also my show, like it usually it's about to move on to 7. I had it on 6:50 to do the news, but I think I'm able to do,
and that's 7 Central because most of our people are Eastern. So that'd be 8 o'clock Eastern.
Right. And at the same time, it's like, you still have time. Like, I know your show is an hour. Mine has gone over an hour sometimes.
Yeah, mine has been 2 sometimes.
But regardless, my show is basically 7. Like, that's when it usually gets going with everything. So 7.
Right on. Yeah, I usually watch yours while I'm at work because usually I get stuck here and can't get into it. But or I drive for a lift, so I'll throw it on there. On the Spotify, I've been listening to the ones on there, and then I caught the first Friday the 13th one. I didn't see the second one yet. And what was the show you did before that?
I did the Friday the 13th one.
Before the Friday the 13th.
Honestly, I did the Wraith, I think, and that was
the Wraith I missed. So I'm talking about the one before that. It was the Twilight Zone one. That was on the Rumble, right?
Yeah,
that was real cool. And my co-host Ryan Inman, he's a giant Twilight Zone guy. And when we reviewed 83, was the year Twilight Zone came out, right? Or 81?
Mm-hmm. 83. No, 80, okay. 83. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I seen that, I'll send that to you, Ernest, when we're done. No problem. Yeah. So when I seen that Twilight Zone, I was just amazed by the movie. And then you did a long form on the movie and then some of the episodes and things like that. And I've been getting into the episodes because I really liked the movie. And Ryan was like, "Oh, you got to see the original episode it's based on." The second story in the movie was my favorite, with the kid. But that sounds like you got to go. That's what that sounds like, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, overall, it's like the Twilight Zone, show. I just
thought that was a really good episode you did.
That's what I wish I could do more Twilight episodes like that. That's why I jumped onto onto Rumble, because it's like
Rob Dahl caught your episode on the Wraith. That looks like he says it was awesome.
Yeah, Wraith had great music and great everything. It's like if you play over a minute's worth of music on Facebook, it's okay. But once you get to 101, they bitch. And it's like, I mean, come on. I mean, I'm not making dough on this.
If anything, you're advertising for the maker of the movie music.
Yeah, exactly. And I've actually gotten some messages from Crazy Licks, Lion. They said they like the show and stuff like that. And they said, "Oh, you can use our music if you want, but Facebook don't give a hot fuck." So
yeah, it's crazy. Same thing. I've went through that too with some different things. But hey man, I just want to thank you so much for coming on. I know you got things to do. It's 7:36 now. You're going live in 14 minutes, so I'm sure you got to get stuff ready. But hey man, thanks for bailing me out, and I'll message you a little bit later to talk to you some more. And anytime, I really appreciate it, brother.
Anytime, man. Take it easy.
All right, take it easy, brother. All right. And Karen says hello, guys. Right on. Okay. Wow, that was cool. That was really awesome of Charles Sherrod. To come on and talk with me. See, Ernest, you got on late. My normal co-host that was on last week with JP, he is in the middle of some business that just could not pry himself away from, that was much more important than this little silly show we do. So at the last minute, I sent up the bat signal on my page. Anybody know anything about the thing that wants to come on and talk about the thing? And I got a couple responses. One of them was from Rob Dowell, who I sent a link to, but the St. John's, Michigan Jason, but he did not jump on. You can do that if you want. You can still jump on and we can talk for a second, Rob, if you want. I'll see you come in. And then I sent one to a couple other people to try to, emergency situation people. But yeah, it was really awesome for Charles to jump on. If anybody's still on and didn't hear, he does a show on an app called Rumble, which is very similar to YouTube. It's a little bit more, I guess they offer you a little bit more freedom on there. It's not as thanks, Rob. Appreciate that. It's not as strict, and you can get away with saying more things. But he does his show on there, and it's a really good show. Again, the Twilight Zone episode is on there, and I really like that. That was my favorite one that he did. And then just now getting into the Twilight Zone, what am I, 50 years too late? But you'll have that. So, yeah, so thanks everybody that came on to listen to this. Me and Ryan will do a more long form when he has time of the thing. But feel free to drop in the comments any thoughts you guys have on the thing, and maybe we could talk about that. Totally missed the JP interview. I was bummed. He's such a cool guy. Yeah, no, he is amazing, dude. He's a really good friend of mine. I love having him on. You're on every Thursday. Think I'll check you guys out. Karen, thank you. Yes, we are. We're on every Thursday. We're in a kind of a transition period where we go live at 7, but we're thinking about bumping that to 8, and between 7 and 8 recording something only for like your basic podcast formats like Spotify and stuff that's not live. Not 100%, but for now, we'll be on 7 o'clock on Thursdays. Thursday after next, I have a good one coming up. If you've never seen the movie Microwave Massacre, that would be Eastern, Karen. A movie called Microwave Massacre, it was actually voted the worst horror movie of all time. But the writer of that movie, I met him at a convention, Craig Muckler, and he is a really cool dude, and I like the movie, even though I like bad cheesy B-budget movies. So I recommend that everybody go to Tubi to give the movie a watch, Microwave Massacre, and jump on in 2 weeks. He'll be on November 16th to talk about the film and everything else he has going on. Like right now, he's doing a podcast with Al Pacino's stepmother, believe it or not. Keep me posted. I'm looking forward to more of this show. I appreciate that so much, Ernest. First time, but we'll try to be a long timer. You can go on YouTube, Ernest, and check out the show with AKC with JP. He's done 2 shows with us. We're gonna try to get Waylon on sometime soon too. I think I could talk him into doing it. He's actually been in a horror film. Name escapes me. 11th sign, 13th sign, 11. So there's numbers and a sign. If anybody knows in the comments, you can post that up there. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get him on. Jeff Hatrix from Mushroomhead, formerly of Mushroomhead, he's gonna be coming on soon. I just found out. Yeah, and Karen, that movie, the main character that's doing all the crazy shit is the voice of Frosty the Snowman, which makes it even cooler. It's an hour and 10 minute movie. I do not recommend children watching it at all. It is not. Yeah, it's just but it's. I think it's fantastic. I think it's so bad it's good. But he'll be on to talk about that, and he's done some other movies too. Yeah, I know. That's what I said too. No fucking way. Yeah, I was very shocked. But Hatrix is going to be doing an appearance at a horror convention in Cleveland. And when that gets closer, we're going to have him on to talk about that. And again, he was in the same horror movie that Waylon was in. So we'll talk about that. That's something we got coming up. Next week, we're not sure what we're going to do. We'll try to get something. We'll do something. I don't know if we're going to rerun this back and do this with Ryan, or we'll try to do some of a ranking show, or just follow the page and we'll talk about that and go from there. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm kind of flaming out here by myself. Yeah, I'm used to having somebody with me, so it's kind of weird talking by myself. But I guess you know what? It's gonna be a shorter show tonight, 7:41. So we've been on for 40 minutes. But follow the page. I want to thank everybody that's watching right now. Everybody like Karen, Rob, Ernest, all you guys. Keep watching. This thing's going to continue to grow. Thanks. I appreciate that. But share this page with people, invite people to the shows, and let's just keep growing this thing because I want it to be very interactive. Rosa, did you see the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie? I did. and me and Ricky are going to do a video reviewing it. We might do it right after I get done with this, and I'll post it on the page. I liked it and I didn't like it. He loved it. So we'll talk about that and we'll get that in. Oh, thanks, brother. Rosa, what did you think of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? Tell me, like, it wasn't that bad. I liked it. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I seen that, Rob, with your next contest that you won. We were talking about that, me and Ryan. That's good on you, man. And seeing if you would have hit that link, you could have came in here and talked about it. But we're about to wrap this up, so you might want to do it a different time. Oh, no problem, Karen. We're wrapping the show up anyway, though. But join us on Thursdays at 7. Tell a friend to tell a friend. All of you guys, so much appreciated. And we'll do this again next week. But follow the page. We're going to release that review that me and Ricky are going to do of Five Nights at Freddy's. And you can just watch at any time. Yeah, that's it, man. And so yeah, just check us out. We're gonna post that a little bit later. And I got all this hitting these buttons. Yeah, the Five Nights at Freddy's thing will be released later, just on the page. And Ernest, that's what I meant to say. Go on YouTube. Follow the channel on YouTube too, but on YouTube it's spelled DAMN instead of DAM because Facebook wouldn't let me write DAMN. And follow that on there, and you can find the 2 shows we did with JP on there. And yeah, he was a really good guy. The first time his internet was kind of shaky, so the second one's a lot better. But yeah, he's really into horror movies. He does a very good job. And yeah, so on that note, we're gonna wrap this up. I can't believe I made it through 45 minutes. I couldn't have done it without Charles Sherrod from The Dive. Follow his page. And so I guess in honor of Ryan and not being here.
Oh shit. There goes the neighborhood. Oh shit. There goes the neighborhood.